Yes, Dr. Apoorva, please check your audio video.
Yes, so just a second. Now it is fine, sir.
Yes, sir, we can start. Yeah.
Okay. So following our insightful discussion on AI and research review, we move to our next session of the evening, which addresses a fundamental shift in modern education. That is, usage of AI for continuous learning for students. To lead this session, we are honored to welcome a distinguished academician and practitioner who has consistently championed innovation in legal education and the advancement of justice through technology. Dr. Apoorva Dixit is an associate professor at the School of Law, D Goenka University. A scholar of the highest caliber, she holds a PhD in arbitration law and an LLM in corporate law from the prestigious Hidayatullah National Law University. Dr. Dixit's career is marked by excellence in both the classroom and the courtroom. She is an award-winning educator and recipient of the Dr. Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan Best Faculty Award 2021, a testament to her dedication to teaching. A practitioner, she is an accredited mediator, a certified arbitrator, and a certified trainer under the POSH. Her research and practice are deeply rooted in alternative dispute resolution. She has published extensive work on institutes on arbitration, mediation in environmental dispute, and online dispute resolution. Beyond her academic role, she serves as an impaneled arbitrator and conciliator while also ensuring the quality of legal scholarship as a peer reviewer and editorial board member for several reputed journals. Dr. Dixit, we are eager to hear your perspective on how students can harness AI not just as a temporary tool, but as a partner in continuous intellectual growth. I request all the participants to join me in welcoming Dr. Apoorva.
Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. I'll just quickly share my screen. I hope it's visible.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Thank you so much. So, at the outset, as the topic says, usage of AI for continuous learning for students. So, if there are any students involved here, and this, let me just give you a caveat. This session is not about how to use AI to get better marks or to write a good research paper and just get away with it. The idea, and if you're hoping for that, you're going to be disappointed, and that's an intentional. Now, what we're really going to talk about today is how learning works when the AI enters the picture, and not learning faster, but learning better. Because we're somewhere and we'll have to face the uncomfortable truth that AI doesn't hide the weak understanding, it exposes it. And if you don't really understand something, AI makes it painfully obvious for you. And that's actually a gift if you're willing to use it properly. Now, let's understand why continuous learning matters. Let's break this down. Most of the students still treat AI as one of the gift, but they're forgetting what education is all about. So they mostly treat education as something finite. I mean, you study, you graduate, and you're done. But the reality actually is very different. Knowledge today has a short shelf life if not applied properly. Now, legal interpretations evolve, theories are challenged, research methods change, entire industries look different every 5 years, and in law, maybe even 6 months. So your degree is not a finished product, it's a foundation. Now, when I talk about foundation, what really determines long-term success is not how much you know today, but how quickly and independent you can learn tomorrow. So AI matters here because it is filling the gap universities simply cannot fill at a scale. Continuous personalized feedback, which is given outside the classroom. So let's understand, as I said, that knowledge evolves rapidly. What I know today might be redundant tomorrow if I'm not upscaling myself. Specifically, if we talk about lawyers, doctors, medicine practitioners, if we do not update ourselves, we'll be outdated in no time. So the basic reason behind it is that simply, if you understand, career are always rewarding adaptability. Now, simply by giving an exam, you will be testing your memory and you will record under pressure. Those, as we keep on telling our students as well, those 3 hours do not determine your intelligence or your IQ. But professional success depends on your ability to actually learn continuously. Because if we have learned something 5 years back, that will not be relevant right now. Okay, because of the continuous amendments, updations, whatever is happening right now, we need something new to understand and to adapt and to apply it right now. And there is limited classroom feedback, because a lot of us will agree with the fact that it is impossible for a faculty in a 60 minutes time span to give attention to each and everybody. It is not intentional, it just happens. It is, there's a paucity of time, and howsoever you want to do it, but there is a paucity of time. So we have very limited time for individual um, conversation or guidance. Now, because the class sizes are going huger and huger day by day, and that opportunity of one by one or like one-on-one conversations actually are minimizing. Now you need to strategies, like we have to have strategies for independent learning and self-assessment. I mean, you're always going to be there for the student, but there have to be skills developed on within the student. They can learn new things, or they can assess, or they can examine their skills on their own as well. Now, if we have a closer look about undergraduate learning and postgraduate learning, they're two different avenues. Why we're keeping this distinction? Because it is very critical and many students miss it. Undergraduate undergraduates learning is all about grasping the concepts because you're learning it for the first time, building vocabulary, obviously, because you do not know these terms. You might be hearing terminologies for the first time, and learning disciplinary methods. Whereas in the postgraduate studies, this focus shifts. It is all about judgment, originality, as well as challenging the existing ideas, because you already have a base set through the undergraduate studies, and now you're taking one step higher through the postgraduate studies. So if you use the AI same way at the both levels, you're doing it wrong, completely wrong. Undergraduates often need AI to explain things, maybe to break down a proper phenomenon or concept or a principle or a law or any kind of maxim to their understanding. Whereas postgraduates need AI to question, because often we want them to research and to come out with certain other things. So that is why AI is required for them to question that what is the missing thing which has not been done yet. So keeping that shift in mind, and we have to keep that change shift in mind, because it's going to change everything. A postgraduate student working on the basic concepts will not be relevant enough and will not be reasonable as well. So the shift, because as the PPT also have mentioned, the conceptual clarity which has already been done in the case of undergraduate, now for the postgraduate students there has to be independent thinking. Now I understand, now I know what is rule of law, how it can be applied, or is it being applied, or what is the functioning, or let's just say simple a law, or maybe about the child labor protection. The law is there, we got to know through the undergraduate study. Postgraduate study, let's understand why still child labor is present in Indian regime or Indian times. What is the reason that it is still not being, the law is not presently not able to curb down the issue? So it, PG levels requires research and originality, like creating knowledge rather than consuming it. You will have to identify the gaps in literature, that whatever studies happen, whatever research work is being done, what are the gaps, what new can you can do, because research is automatically about something which, what kind of novelty you're bringing to the table. So I will break it down to fewer parts as well, that what AI is actually and what AI is not. So AI works better when you treat it like a patient tutor. Okay. Now you can ask, explain it differently. I didn't get that, try again. There are prompts which are given, I'm talking about. Give me an example. Now simplify it even more. It doesn't judge, it doesn't rush you, it doesn't get tired. Not I'm talking about, or not I'm pinpointing to our profession. We also listen, we also judge, but if a student is learning, studying at mid of the night and he has a doubt, obviously we won't be able to tell or help them at that particular time. But within the reachable hours, why not? But AI is something which is there round the clock, and there is no harm in utilizing it, but to the correct sense. And that is why I say that whenever you're talking about AI, it should be a learning partner. It has to have intelligent learning assistant. You can have a similar, you heard something for the first time, or maybe you heard in the class, you're not able to get it, you did not get a chance to talk to the concerned faculty. Why don't you ask AI? I am not saying the teachers are going to be removed. They were still going to be there, and we very much are required in this stream of life and this present times. But we are talking about for the time of continuous learning for students, because continuous learning evolves 24/7. Okay, you and I might not be available 24/7, but yes, AI is there, and why not we tell our students how exactly they're supposed to use it? So it is a 24/7 feedback mechanism. It's an always available resource for checking and understanding. And I'm sure at least 95% of us who are attending this program through various places might be using AI. But the thing is, we really do not know how to use AI, and that is why we take it as in a negative manner as well. Okay. And but I will again reiterate the fact that it has to be used correctly. Now, what AI is not a shortcut. AI, let's understand the hard part. AI is not your ghostwriter. If it's writing your assignments, you're not learning, you're outsourcing your thinking. And AI is not a grade guarantee, okay? Because students who rely on AI mechanically, they actually, I mean, if you understand the part that if they are, uh, just give me a second. Huh? Yes, so sorry for that list. Yes. So if we talk about specifically that what AI is not, it is uh, it is not a grade guarantee. As I said, students who rely on AI mechanically often perform worse because they're not applying their brains. They're putting a prompt and they're relying completely on it without checking and without understanding what is exactly happening. So they perform worse because their conceptual foundation collapses. I am relying on AI to understand a concept perfectly fine. I am relying on AI to complete my assignment, not right. So, what this really means is AI rewards effort, but it punishes laziness. If you are from the law background and you're from particular specific subjects which involves a lot of case laws, you will know, and you might have seen the assignments of your students as well, wherein they will give you assignments and there will be case laws which you will be hearing for the first time because they are inventory tone. So that is why it is not a great guarantor, and it should not be treated as your ghostwriter that you're giving your work to somebody else and they are performing it. Now let's understand there's a continuous learning cycle. Now real learning happens to be in cycles, not in straight lines. Okay. You start learning by actually you'll be learning something new, then you try to explain it. Okay, I read about something, then I try to explain it. I am articulating the concepts in my words, and AI can listen to my explanations and identify the misunderstandings. Then I test myself. Challenge yourself with the practical problems and questions. Now AI can help you in generating those kind of different questions to assess your comprehension. Next part comes it, and that is why you will realize what you've understood. That is why the reflection comes in, and then you correct it and then you apply it again. Now the reflection and test part helps you in understanding the concept much more better, that whatever I have understood, am I right or am I wrong? So that is why it's a ever evolving cycle wherein you start from learning to explaining to testing the part. And when I'm talking about learning, I am talking about learning about new, like information from lectures, maybe from reading, from resources. You can use AI to clarify the confusing concepts. The first time, a lot of us, even in my family, people when they heard the term black box, they used AI to understand it, because not in a daily language everybody knows about it unless you belong to the similar field. So they use AI to the benefit to understand the concept. Okay, then they're explaining it to others as well. हमने ये पढ़ा था, and this is what AI actually means. So now the continuous cycle is that AI fits into every stage of its process, whether you're learning, whether you're explaining, whether you're testing, and whether you're reflecting and applying the knowledge. So now, but notice something very important here. AI does not remove the struggle, okay? It redirects the struggle to where it matters most. That is the thinking part. I am understanding, then what I'm thinking, I'm explaining there. I'm testing what I'm thinking about it, then I'm applying it there. If I'm reflecting what I've thought was right or not, and when I'm applying whatever my thoughts are, I'm applying to it. So that is why this ever evolving cycle. Now I have basically divided few parts into undergraduate and postgraduate parts, and also I've given few examples of law and humanities, because that is what most of the, I think most of the audience will be targeting upon. So let's understand how undergraduates use AI. So for undergraduates, confusion is massively normal, because they're entering the college world first time. They're understanding the concepts, and they're reading new subjects, which is very common for them. Now, because for a person who's studying law for the first time, textbooks are going to be very dense for him. Lectures are going to move fast and concepts pile up. So now AI helps in translating complexity into clarity. Now, one can ask AI to, you can explain this like I am new to the subject. Using the right prompts is very important. Use and as everyday example. Maybe you can, for example, when we study Contracts Act, there's a lot of example which can be given to make the concepts very simpler and easy to understand. Given a prompt that connect this concept to something very practical. See, understand the kind of prompts which I'm giving and how AI will be answering me. Now, this builds an institution first, and institution, what allows memorization is actually to stick. Now, how do we do it? You have to practice and recall. Now, most students revise passively, okay? वो रट्टू तोता टाइप पूरे 2 घंटे में पूरे टेक्स्ट बुक खत्म करने, because we have an exam. So reading notes again and again, that is what they do. That feels productive, but it isn't. It is just not. Learning only improves when you retrieve information, not when you recognize it. Now, AI helps in generating practice questions, maybe hypothetical questions, MCQs, short answers. But here's the key: you must answer first and then check, otherwise you are just reading again. Okay, have you've understood the concept, then you're applying your knowledge and practice and recall. Okay, I studied this, is it going to be applied? But as I said, just attempt the questions, attempt everything, and then try to check, and otherwise you're going to only read again. Now there is another part which is about exam revision and recall. Now, exam test recall under pressure. AI allows you to simulate that pressure. There could be timed questions, there could be rapid quizzes, anything you can do with AI. Mixed difficulty levels, you just tell the prompt that what kind of questions you want to answer, and it will help you to break it down. It also helps you to spot patterns and mistakes. Whether you're misunderstanding concepts, misreading questions, or running out of time, that diagnosis is incredibly valuable. Now, it will going to tell you, it can adjust the difficulty, as I said. Now, patterns will also be known, that you're only, if as simple as a spelling mistake, that can also be recognized through AI, because we are so used to of having smartphones and using keyboards every time. There are so many spelling mistakes these days. Now let's understand how postgraduates should use AI. Now, postgraduate learning demands a mindset shift. You are no longer learning what exists, you're learning to question it. You're learning to understand what is to be done next about the existing concept. And AI should no longer be your explainer. It should be your critique now. Now, instead of asking, is this correct? The question should be asked, what's weak here and what is missing? A lot of us might be using AI in the manner that we upload our papers, research papers, and try to give a proper critique and proper feedback review, through which AI helps you to understand where you're going wrong. And similarly can be done by the postgraduate students as well. So now, when we talk about critique and structure, AI is excellent at spotting the logical gaps, the weak transitions, and as well as the unsupported claims. Now, when we talk about uh, a simple example, maybe you can give it your argument and say, attack this. I mean, in the sense that I'm just giving you examples of prompts. Uh, Play the examiner, or be skeptical about your reviews about this paper or about this paragraph or about whatever you want to insert in the chatbot. Now, this strengthens your work before a human reviewer ever sees it. One set of review, you're already doing it with the person who's going to be giving you foolproof answers. Now, there also is a part of identifying gaps in reasoning. Now, one of the hardest skills at the postgraduate level is knowing what's missing. AI can help you ask, am I assuming too much? See, whatever goes in our head might be good at the brain level only, it might not be materialized. Why am I saying so? Because sometimes things could look like look good on the paper, but they are not good on the paper in reality. So that is why it is important for us to understand. Now, one more thing which we need to understand is what alternative interpretation exists, what evidence would strengthen to this claim. Now, but remember, AI can flag issues. It cannot simply genuine insight. This still has to come from you only. Okay, you are. See, now there's a shift between postgraduates and undergraduate students. What kind of work they're supposed to do, and how you can help them in telling what kind of prompts and what kind of help they should be taking and seeking from AI. Let's go to the next slide and understand AI for active learning. Now, there is active versus passive learning. And you must be aware about both the terms. So now let's call it out clearly. Highlighting is passive. Okay, I highlight through the notes and everything I do. Rewriting notes is passive. Listening without questioning is passive. That I'm not doing anything. I'm rereading my notes and I'm highlighting whatever is mentioned. I'm not doing anything else. Active learning is more uncomfortable. It is about explaining, it is about testing, it is about failing, it is about reflecting. Now, AI makes active learning easier, but not easier in the sense of less effort. Easier in the sense of more structured struggle. Let me give you a few examples. I have framed out few examples for undergraduates, specifically for law. Now, legal education depends on the clarity of doctrine. AI helps you when you ask explain this doctrine. It's in plain English. Give me an example of a fact situation or now complicated. Now this trains issue spotting and application skills, exams and practice actually reward. Now why do we say this? Because there is another part of case law analysis as well. Case law is not about mentoring judgments or memorizing judgments. It's about understanding the reasoning. What's the ratio? What's the obiter dicta? How we should understand it? So AI helps you there. You can check your understanding of facts and ratio. You can unpack the judicial logic as well, that what is the exact logic which went behind this judgment, and generate counter arguments. Now you can even ask AI to argue against you, in the sense that that's adversarial engagement sharpens your legal thinking. If you are going to use AI to be having a debate, or having a healthy debate rather, having a brainstorming session about something concept, what do you think, what is to be done, this is my idea, you can have a proper discussion, and that will be really fruitful. Now when we talk about the self-testing part, create your own problem scenarios and work through them before checking with AI. Now explain your reasoning step by step. Okay, now issue identification will be there. There will be rule statement, application conclusion. Now AI is going to provide you immediate feedback on your analytical approach, where you're going right, where you're going wrong. There has to be an analysis of case law as well. When we talk about specifically, like as I said in the counter arguments part, if I am, for each case law, for example, generate opposing arguments, how this dissent might have reasoned, what alternative interpretation of the law exists here, and this critical perspective prepares you for moot courts as well as the adversarial thinking part. This example can clearly be set out for the undergraduates, as an AI can give you a role play as opposing counsel and challenging your position. Having a proper kind of discussion helps you in understanding the concept to another level. Now, let's talk about the postgraduate research. At advanced levels, AI becomes a research assistant, not a researcher for you. It is going to assist you in a lot of manner, but not help you to become, not it's not going to help you by being a researcher for you. Okay. Now, it can help you to identify the weak logic, the missing authorities, as well as likely examiner objections. If you give a prompt to the chat, to the AI, that review this paper and tell me what could be the possible questions which can be generated, it will give you a series of questions through it. Now, while I talk about identify weak reasoning, it helps you to find the gaps. What am I missing here? And gaps in the sense it could be on writing measures, it could be on understanding the concept part. All of this play a different role. Now, but it cannot replace reading cases, verifying citations, and forming normative arguments. If I have not read anything on my own and if I'm simply blindly relying on AI, that is not going to take me anywhere. So because I have to read the cases, I have to verify the citations, I have to form my normative arguments and reasoning, because all of these are human task, not the AI task. Now, understand, as I said about the anticipating the reviewer's question as well. Before submitting a dissertation or article, have a role play with AI as a critical examiner or a general reviewer. We all of us might be doing, and if not, if you have not submitted your paper to the AI or any kind of AI, let it be Perplexity or ChatGPT or Gemini, get a proper review, and you will be shocked with the kind of answers you'll be receiving. Now, this preparation is going to address you to welcome the and understand the weaknesses and make it picture perfect and camera ready for publication, whatsoever process you are going for. Let's understand the example of humanities now. Basically, humanities theory often feels inaccessible because of the language, but not ideas. So AI helps you in translating. There are dense theory through which you can have an understandable concepts. Simplifying the abstract theories. Now, but more importantly, it helps you to compare theories and understand criticism, but it prevents blind application as well. Now, it also involves critical reading. While I say about critical reading, it means questioning assumptions. Now, AI can help you surface what is taken for granted, what values are embedded, and what alternatives readings actually are existing. So, this turns reading into a dialogue, but not consumption. Okay. Now, humanities, if we talk about it, another for the postgraduate level only, if I give an example, critical readings is actually required. But now, if you talk about good humanities, writing reflects clear thinking as well. Now, AI helps you in improving the flow, in flagging the vagueness, and pushing analysis deeper. Now, if AI says something is unclear, it usually means you are unclear, and that's valuable feedback, which we simply are not able to digest at times. Now, identifying the recurring themes, questioning the underlying assumptions, and challenging the central arguments. That is exactly how humanities students should be using AI. Okay? And it goes across every stream and every subject. It should not be used with blind eyes and with closed mind. You will have to open your eyes, open your brains to use AI to the best sense, because if not used properly, it is going to take everything away from you. Now, if we take an example of, again, for essay writing, it can help you in improving the flow and flagging vagueness and pushing the analysis deeper. Okay, now I want to also make you understand about law and humanities, how the AI use is compared. Let's understand viewing. Law focuses on rules, structure, and application, and humanities, whereas on the other hand, focuses on interpretation, arguments, and meaning. So, while there is doctrinal reasoning in law and legal analysis applies, AI is going to help you to understand how doctrine functions when they apply and how courts interpret them historically. There's also case analysis flow. While we talk about the case analysis flow, AI assists in identifying holdings, understanding reasoning, and connecting cases to broader legal frameworks. It can tell you how many times a case has been cited, but it might give you a wrong case if you are asking for a proper essay or essay submission or an answer writing. Now, there it also provides you rule-based problem solving in the case that AI helps you practice this analytical framework until it becomes second nature. Now, let's understand for the part of humanities. Humanities, as I said, focuses on interpretation, uh, arguments, and meaning. So, AI helps you in developing and articulate interpretative frameworks while challenging your readings. It also clarifies how these frameworks operates and helps you in applying consistently and thoughtfully. And lastly, when we talk about argument and persuasion, AI helps you in refine your argumentative strategy. That this can be framed better. Use it for polishing, but your thoughts and ideas, but not for giving you ready-made assignment. Because 2 minutes noodles are not healthy. That is why this 2 minutes usage of AI is also not healthy. Now let's take another example that how AI can help you for exam preparation. Now, AI turns exam preparation into strategy. How it does that? Because you can practice the question under time pressure. You give them a 30 minutes saying that give me 10 objective questions on this concept and making it very difficult. The level or the strategy should not be easy or beginner level. It should be moderate and difficult. So like you have to provide the syllabus, maybe the lecture notes, and maybe the textbook chapters, and maybe a pattern of exam papers which you want to have an understanding. Through that, you will have a lot of practice questions through which you will be able to understand that whether you've understood the concepts clearly or not. Okay. Another part is that create time bound quizzes which are there. Simulate exam conditions by setting time limits for the AI generated practice questions. Now working under time pressure because already the students have only 3 hours to finish up the question paper. And if you tell them to practice within time frame with the help of AI, they are going to excel. And that it is, if I do not tell you that it's going to be overnight thing, but if through practice, if done correctly, it can give you massive and good results. Now, also, AI can help you the identifying the recurring mistakes. If you submit your answers 1, 2, 3 times, you'll understand. Your AI is going to tell you that what kind of mistakes you are making. Maybe in your writing pattern, maybe in argumentation, maybe in explanatory skills. Whatever is missing, that can be dealt and understood through the help of AI. Let's also understand AI for research literacy. If a postgraduate student has to study at least 5 papers for one topic, it is going to be impossible for him to read every, like for example, it's a 40-page research paper overnight here and he has to study. Or if he has to give it last minute assignment or whatsoever it is, but I'm sure he is not going to be able to read everything. So using AI to summarize those research papers. Now, when one is facing dense academic articles, AI can extract the key arguments. If I give a prompt and if I tell them, can you tell me out of these articles which one is matching this theme? AI is going to simplify your process and imagine you doing it for 10 days, reading everything, and then coming to the point that only one article is relevant to your research. So, that kind of work and that kind of assistance can be taken through AI. Secondly, if we talk about uh, summarizing part, it summarizes the starting point but not the subtitles. Okay, so deep reading and verifications remains non-negotiable. It is going to tell you yes, it is matching your theme, but it is not telling you to rely blindly on it. So everything would have to be verified by you only. Now when we talk about research methods, all I'm trying to tell you is that unfamiliar with mixed methods design, regression analysis, discourse analysis, and AI can help you to understand what kind of research methodologies is in accessible language is. I do not know what is doctrinal research. For once, when I heard it for the first time, I thought we're talking about some doctor. It is not that. Okay. Now, simply, it helps you in evaluating critically and designing your own research and understanding in what kind of topic and area which research design would be applicable. Okay. It also helps you in deep reading of primary resources. It summarizes context and complexity, and but you will have to read foundational text yourself, okay, and develop genuine expertise and avoid misunderstanding through oversimplification, because if the thing which is, it loses the essence if it is oversimplified. Okay. And source verification, AI cannot replace the source verification part. Okay. AI may misattribute codes, it can give you data which is not correct, and that is why we are talking about again and again, use it to understand the concept. Do not use it to write a research paper or have a proper academic research through it, because it will not lead you to a proper path, and it will not going to fetch you any marks as well. So never trust AI citations without independent confirmation. Sometimes it, not sometimes, majorly it mixes up the citations and give you wrong citations. Okay. So that is why it should not be taken as a part that humans can be completely replaced or faculties can be completely replaced because of AI. It cannot happen. Okay. Now AI can also be used for self-assessment. How? um, Academic integrity is actually not about avoiding the technology. Okay. If we do not keep ourselves updated, we'll be running behind. Now, why FDPs like these on particularly these topics are required? Because you and I do not even know what kind of technology students are using these days. If we do not know what kind of chat GPT language uh, is being used, or what kind of reflection does a chatbot through AI provides you, you will not be able to differentiate between a student written research paper and a AI written research paper. I'm sure you will be able to draw the line where this part is written by a student and this part is written by the AI. The kind of flowery language, the kind of hefty words and difficult words sometimes which are used by AI will never be used by our students to the most level, okay? Maximum times. Now, understanding these boundaries between academic misconduct and the usage of AI protects you both from learning, and it helps you actually build your reputation as well. Now, let's understand what are the allowed uses of AI. Now, clarification part. For example, I want to use, see, the ethical line is very simple. Huh? AI can support your thinking, but AI cannot replace your thinking. So, whatever is allowed is the clarification part. I ask AI to explain the concept, to explain the theory or methods which I do not understand from the lectures or readings. AI can also be used to improve the grammar, suggest clearer phrasing, and identify the awkward sentences and maybe spell checks as well, while maintaining your own ideas and arguments. It is also there for self-testing part. Now, while we talk about self-testing, generating practice questions, quizzes, problem sets to assess your understanding. And brainstorming is also there. Now, exploring different approaches to a topic, discussing potential arguments, and considering alternative perspectives. If a researcher or if a student is going to use, they will have to think from all the perspectives, not from the perspective only which they have in their head. So, having a multiple source or having a suggestion given to organize your research or ideas more logically and improve the flow of writing, it can be there. So now, right from the clarification part to the structured feedback, everything involves the assistance. Okay, not the dependence on AI. It can be used to improve things. Now let's understand what are the prohibited use. Okay. Written submissions. So having AI write essays, reports, assignments that you submit as your own work is strictly prohibited. Fake citations using AI generated references without verifying their exist or attributes, ideas, and they do not support them. Unacknowledged assistance. Now, incorporating AI generated content into your own work without disclosure when your institution requires it, it's also a no no. Now, exam cheating, as I am sure a lot of people, a lot of students still use this, and they have so much of technology that you and I can't even reach there. They use AI during the closed book exams or assessment, whether when it is strictly prohibited. So now data fabrication, asking AI to generate your research data or survey response or experiential results, completely forbidden. Because as I said, it's a very thin line. You are, see, the ethical line is actually very simple. You can get the assistance in thinking, but you cannot replace your thinking. It has to come from within. The concepts, the part, the understanding, the thought, basic thought should come from you inside, and then only it can be taken up, and the AI can assist you in that. Let's also understand the academic integrity self check. Now ask yourself one thing: can I explain this without notes? Okay, is this reasoning genuinely mine? Okay, if I can explain this without the notes, then I have understood the concept clearly. Okay, if someone, yeah, questions you, if you student question a student regarding that, okay. And if you have seen, might sometimes it happens that in the viva, if you give them an assignment, you ask them questions, they're not able to answer, and that is why this checking part is also required. Now, while we see, I see a raised hand. I think we can take up the questions in some time, because I'm about to end the session. Yet I won't take much time. Now, academic integrity self checks. I basically am trying to tell you that if I am not able to explain this concept myself, then it is not right. And if I'm only relying on the notes, it's going to create a, because the minute somebody asks a question, I do not know. I might produce a paper which says everything about that topic, but I do not know even a single line, because that is not produced or thought or written or analyzed by me at all. So, genuine learning means that the knowledge lives in your mind, not just on the page. And is the reasoning genuinely mine? By this, we have to understand that even if I have written everything, okay, AI's words is using its reasoning structure without attribution is actually dishonest. My unique perspective and analytical process must be showcased and driven in my work. So remember, actually, the goal of education isn't producing impressive documents. It's about developing the impressive minds. And if AI use prevents that development, you're undermining your own future, because it is not going to tell you, and it's going to be that success or that fame or that marks or those grades, it's going to be very short lived. Okay. Now, what as faculties and supervisors we expect them to have an independent thinking. Now, independent thinking can only be distinguished, and also we want them to have honest scholarship, clear reasoning. We can certainly tell that when AI has been used thoughtfully and when it has been abused. So there's a very thin line, and it is very easy for us to establish that thing. Now, I will circulate this PPT as well, and I'll keep the last 10 minutes for questions, and that is why I'm not delving into much this part. But read a short case or text, have this exercise on your own, that wherein you are using a, as in, for example, you read a text or a paragraph, okay, then you are asking AI to explain and critique it, okay, through a prompt AI tool, and paying attention to what it highlights, and then you are rewriting into your own words. Okay, now this is a three-step process through which you'll understand how AI is helping you. Now the idea is for you is to recognize the difference between the surface level summarization and the deep understanding. The kind of right prompts which you give to AI is really going to help you to build your critical thinking skills. Okay, one more thing which we need to understand is that learning beyond university is there for the students. It is just not preparing you for the compilation or grading marks or mark sheets or giving you grades. It is also for you to acquire new skills for interview preparation and also for career adaptability. Now, basic line, as I've said, the most valuable career skill isn't technological or technical knowledge. It's the ability to learn independently, think critically, and to adapt to change. Now, final takeaway: AI is a mirror for your learning. Okay. Now, while I say that it exposes the shallow learning, it will tell you where you are going wrong, and it rewards the deep thinking. It will tell you exactly where you're going wrong and how it needs to be improved. But it is not going to tell you what you have to write. And if you do that, it is not right. So the future belongs to those who can think independently and use AI as an amplifier, not as a replacement. Now, while we talk about all these points, it is very important and pertinent for us to understand that as we move forward in our academic journeys, we will have to understand the part that AI is not something which we can avoid. It is already there. It is working to leaps and bounds. It can help us to enhance our work, but if used correctly. But it is going to destroy everything if not used correctly. So AI is not going to replace the faculties. We are very much required here, and with our knowledge about AI, we can even assist our students and tell them how to use AI to the best of their abilities and not misuse AI to their benefits as well. I think that will be all from my side. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to take them up.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Apurva, for your really you divided, the UG PG level. That was again, I would say, great input in your presentation, coupled with pros and cons, how you can use in nutshell. Very detailed we discussed that we can take up
Thank
if
you, sir.
half of the so it will be great. So participant, any question query from your side, you can raise
And
your
before I
hand.
get the questions, I must compliment you, sir, for coming up with these kind of topics because it is very, I do not know. I mean, 2, 3 years back, and until date, I have not seen any kind of FDPs which specifically target on these issues.
Yes,
I
yes,
see a raised hand, sir. If
yes,
she
yes.
can.
Yes, I would say touch wood. So very good topics come up last couple
Certainly,
of
sir.
years, not done by anyone. So uh, it's a entire process supported by all the resource person institution from all over the India. So I'm just doing my 20-30% job. Rest is happening from
सर वो
across
हिंदी
India.
में कहते हैं ना सूत्रधार वो
Yeah.
है आप
Thank you. Yes, Ranga Swami Kannan.
Uh, my question is whenever we use AI for our articles and for other submissions, the question of plagiarism comes into play. So, what can you suggest some strategy by which we can reduce the reported AI content?
सर
Any tools?
Okay, I understood your question, but the point is we cannot be using complete AI to write the research papers or articles because that is ethically not correct. What we can do, we give our maybe first draft through that which can through which the gaps can be identified, through which whatever errors are there which can be identified. There is no way and there is no point of actually reducing the plagiarism if you have written the research paper entirely through AI because it is not ethically right. And right now, if you see that earlier, it was only plagiarism which was being counted. Now, if it to understand the perspective of AI now, if you submit a research paper, it will also be talking about that the AI and the plagiarism should be less than 10% because they've understood. If we solely rely on it, it is not going to work, sir. You put your inputs, you put your thoughts that you want your articulation. If the critical thinking part is not done by us, it is not going to see. We cannot be using AI, as I said in the previous slides as well. We cannot be using AI to write research paper for us. We can be only using AI to assist us in researching few points. If I'm writing about a concept of child labor, I understand I am going to take help of AI to understand how from since when this AI has been there in this child labor has been there in the system. I know what are the laws. I know what the implementation part, but I understand that what are now AI going to help me that what all researches are being conducted already on this topic. So, sir, there is no not going to be any way through which we can reduce the AI in a research paper. It is just that we how we use it matters the most because ultimately the thinking part, the writing part has to be done by the researcher themselves, and AI cannot be replacing that. Any other question?
Yes, any other question, participant?
Sir, I'll
Okay, no
share the
question.
PPT with you as people have been asking about it.
Yes, yes, sure. Yes, over to you, Samyak.
Yes, sir. Okay, so it was actually a very insightful session where Dr. Dixit actually took us from the framework how the students can involve in lifelong learning. Then, if in order to summarize, I can say she focused on the continuous learning cycle. Then AI as a learning partner. Then the comparison between the undergraduate as well as the postgraduate focus while learning, as well as the disciplinary adaptability and the necessity for the adaptability. So Dr. Dixit has equipped the teachers now, actually, how the teachers can go ahead and help the students actually use and take help from the AI for their learning to become lifelong learners. So again, I would like to thank on behalf of Dr. Samita Debralman, HSNC Board, Nari Gursahani Law College, Law Teachers India for giving me the opportunity to moderate today's session. And thank you, Dixit ma'am, once again.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.